Special guest for you right here, jumping on board with us, is John Leahy, girls basketball coach at Middle Township. The Panthers are one of the hottest teams in South Jersey. They've won, let's see, a 19-1 in your last 20, Coach?
Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
That's crazy. I mean, you guys were 4-4 at one point and kind of shuffling along. What was the biggest change? I mean, I saw you guys play Atlantic City in the CO Classic, and I know you're upset about that game. You blew a 13-point lead or something like that in the fourth quarter, and that was kind of a gut check moment, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think as I told the kids at that time, I think after we lost to Atlantic City, we were 4-4, and when you looked at the 4 games that we lost, we were literally 1 possession, 2 possessions away from being 8-0. So all our losses were by 1 or 2 possessions. So, I think our kids, we spent a little bit more time, attention to detail in practice. I think our kids have really stepped it up in practice, and I think they've understood that, every possession matters. Every possession at both ends is important. I think we have done a really good job of cutting out some of the silly mistakes, some of the silly turnovers and things like that, we were committing the first month of the season. We have not been doing. And I think that's really made a difference in our win streak here.
Coach, was that just the case early on of losing some games that you thought you were going to win and a little bit of frustration building up?
Yeah, I mean, I think, both our mainland games, the first time we played mainland, we missed 8 foul shots in the fourth quarter. It felt like we kind of threw that one away. And, the second game that we lost at their place, we were pretty unhappy with the way we played in the fourth quarter. I think we were winning going into the fourth quarter. So it was really, to be honest with you, after the mainland game that I think, we weren't happy with the way that, kind of game went down. And from that point on, we made a commitment to each other. The players made a commitment to each other that, we were going to put a little bit more time in and work a little bit harder. And from that day, I think, well, like I said, I think we're 19 out of the last 20 and, rolling pretty good and playing pretty well. And, I can't say enough about my kids and how proud I am of them. To make it to both finals is a tremendous accomplishment for my group of multi-sport athletes who, the reality of it is the day after we lose, half of them are going to have softball bats and half of them are going to have lacrosse sticks in their hands. And, again, for this group to do what they're doing is just tremendous.
Talk with John Leahy, girls basketball coach at Middle Township. And Coach, you've been in the game for a long time. And was there a moment where when the turning point came before that, was it like, hey, do I go tougher on them? Do I ease up? How do I get this group to live up to its potential? And that can be different from year to year. Were there nights where you were thinking, man, what do I do to get the potential to come out of this group? Because they had a lot of talent, and you guys were kind of scuffling along there a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's tough. My kids don't play a ton of basketball, so you have to coach every group different. I'm kind of used to it by now. Our staff, I think we understand that every group is different, every season is different. And there's just certain things that my kids just don't know and don't understand. And that's not a knock on them. We just don't play enough basketball or watch enough basketball to understand. Like, for example, we played mainland and they played a triangle and 2, and there wasn't one kid on our team that knew what a triangle and 2 defense was. And it's just things like that, okay, you have to accept. You got to teach them as much as we can. There are times during the season where you got to ease up a little bit. That doesn't happen a whole lot, but it happens every once in a while. And there's other times where, you got to be harder on the kids and, show them a little bit of tough love. And, my kids understand that everything that our staff does for them, whether we're, putting an arm around them and talking softly or yelling, it's all about coaching and it's all about, wanting them to do better. And, now you're seeing what they're capable of.
Coach, you talked about the multi-sport athletes, and you've seen some other programs have a lot of success with that, namely Ocean City. I mean, Coach Perufi takes girls from field hockey, soccer, and all kind of other sports, lacrosse, and kind of molds them into a basketball team. And you've done well with that, too, over the course of your career. One good thing about having multi-sports athletes is they're not going to fold under pressure. They're used to being in big games. I mean, obviously those girls from Middle Township in sports like field hockey, lacrosse, and soccer, they're used to playing in playoffs. So once you get things rolling, they're going to be ready for that challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I might be in the minority, but I love coaching the kids that play other sports. I think it's important. I think it's important for the kids, and I think it's important for our athletic program that our athletes are making an impact on multiple programs. But yeah, I mean, I think you're 100% right. My kids are used to competing. I mean, I think when they play more sports, they naturally become more competitive. I think they learn real quick about teamwork and, how important everyone's role is. And, we're fortunate, we have a very strong athletic department. So I think our kids are used to winning. They're used to playing together and sacrificing for each other. And, I think they're, again, they're used to putting in the time and being good, which I think makes a big difference. And, for us, the kids have played in a lot of big games. I don't think in any other sport you get the pressure of a big game that you do in basketball. And some of my kids, after the Cal final were just saying like, man, coach, I never felt anything like that. And that's just, those are things that you got to live out and things that you got to experience. They're great games to play in. And I know that like that Cal final has certainly helped us this week. And, again, for my group, I mean, I didn't think it was possible, but, we're sitting with 24 wins and we're under the radar. There's nobody talking about us. And, we can't even get a mention in the paper, which is a little disappointing, but whatever. We're used to it, and we're just going to keep our heads down and keep working hard, and we'll do our best on Tuesday night.
Talking with Coach John Leahy from Middle Township girls basketball. And, Coach, what was the mindset going into that game against number 1 Sterling, obviously the top seed, but it didn't seem like there was any trepidation on the part of your team. I mean, I'm sure they knew they were good enough to be in that position, and obviously you knew it was going to be a close game. What did you say to these girls before the game?
Yeah, I mean, even coming into the playoffs, I mean, I felt good with where we were at, and Wednesday night at Cinnaminson was a great win, and then to go to Sterling last night. Cinnaminson and Sterling have two of the better programs in South Jersey every year. And I think Sterling do a great job. It was a great atmosphere. They're very similar to us in that, they got kids that play other sports. They've had a lot of the same families, the same names coming through their programs. So, yes, I mean, we knew it was going to be tough. Again, Sterling have a great team every year. But, our kids continue to believe in each other. Our defense and our rebounding, I think, has been outstanding. So I think our kids understand that, we continue to get stops and continue to rebound the basketball, the offense is going to come around. And fortunately, we made some big shots. Maddie Barber made a couple of huge shots last night in timely moments in the second half. And, it's just a total team effort. And, again, I can't say enough about my kids and how proud I am of them. And it was a great atmosphere. I can't thank the people that came to the game from the Middle Township community and our cheerleaders and staff members. And I can't thank them enough for all the support. It was just a tremendous night for our kids and our community.
Coach, it makes it a lot easier dealing with the parents when you're winning a lot of games, right?
Well, yeah, and, winning does help, but I have to say my parents are great. My parents are very, very supportive, and they understand that if the kids work hard and always try their best and put the time in, I think our staff, over the years has been very fair, and the kids will get opportunities. But I think, the support that my kids get from their parents and the coaches get from them is tremendous, and it does make a difference for sure.
Coach, good stuff, man. We appreciate you hopping on board, taking a few minutes out of your Saturday morning. I know you got a lot of work to do to get ready for Manchester. That's going to be a tough matchup for you. Obviously, one of the best teams in the state, but good luck in the South Jersey Group 2 final, bud.
We really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
You got it, man. Have a good weekend.